Hello everyone. So in this video, we will do a classroom practice exercises. So we will do couple of questions on variables and data types, and to learn, the concepts what we have learned, how can we apply in a given problem statement. So let's get started with the first problem, which is the first question. The question is write a program to print a message, "Hello, I am learning Python." So basically, in this question, it's just asking to print this message using some Python syntax. It's asking to print a message, "Hello, I am learning Python." So the way we can do is to use the print command and pass this particular message. So hello, I am learning Python. So when I run this command, and it will show you that hello, I am learning Python. So it will print that message. So we will use print statement to display or print any kind of a message. So moving on to the next question, the next question is saying that write a program which can store two input values in the variable and then calculate their sum, store the output value in some variable and display its value. So let's break down this question into multiple parts, and then we can write a syntax on each of them. So the first part is saying to store two input values in the variable. So basically it's asking to create two variables and store some input values in them. So let's create a equal to 10 and b equal to 20. So here we have created two input variable a and b, and inside of it we are storing two input values which are 10 and 20. Now the next part is saying then calculate their sum. So we can calculate the sum by using a plus b, and it's saying that and store it in some variable, so some output variable. So the summation of a plus b, let's store in a new variable or an output variable. We can say in c equal to a plus b. So the summation of a plus b we will store in the variable called c, and then it's saying then print its value, display its value. And as we know that we will use the print command to display its value. So print will pass some message like the sum of a and b is, and then we will pass the output variable c, so comma c, and it will show you that the sum of a and b is 30. So in this way we can declare variables, we can calculate some expression, store the output of an expression in some output variable, and then we can display through print syntax or print command. The next thing it's saying that write a program to calculate this expression, which is s equal to a multiple b plus a divided by b plus a multiplication 0.8, and then convert the output of this expression in an int format, in an integer format. So let's say if the value of s come out to be 27.5 or let's say 30.5, we convert this 30.5 into integer format, so from 30.5 to 30, and then print the output before the conversion and after the conversion. So let's say in this expression we have two input variables a and b. So let's say give the value again, a equal to 10 and b equal to 20, and let's write down the expression here. So it's saying a multiplication b plus a divided b plus a multiplication 0.8, or I can put it in this way. So it's same. Now the output of this expression we are storing in a variable called s. Let's say let's display the output of s before converting into an integer format. And let's also print its data type as well. So before conversion it's just a message, and then and you know that in order to understand in order to find the data type of any variable, we will use the function type s. Now let's convert into a integer format. So I'm storing in s itself. So to convert from integer format, we will use the keyword int and the pass the value of s. And now let's print the new output after the conversion and its data type as well. So let's say after conversion here, and type of S, and let's run the command. And we can see here the output of S, it's saying 208.5, and before conversion the data type is float, because you can see it has some decimal value, so the data type of S is float. Now after converting into integer format here, the output has changed from 208.5 to 208, and now the new data type has become int. So in this way we can convert from one data type to another, calculate the expression, change its data type, and through using the print statement, float function or int function to convert its data type. Hello. So in this we will do another hands-on exercise or a classroom practice question exercise on strings. So the first question what we will do in this exercise is write a program to find the length of a string, which is hello, comma, I am learning Python. So what I am doing is I will create one variable and store this string in this variable called L. And now in order to find the length of a string or count the number of characters in a string, we can use the function called len, L-E-N. Len. So this function will tell me how many number of characters are there in a string. So one important thing is that when it's counting the number of characters in a string, it will also count the spaces in between them. For example, the space between I and M, or between I am and learning, or between learning and Python, and it will also count the commas as well. And let's and I'm storing the length of this string in some variable called, let's say, A. In a variable called A, I'm storing the length of the string, and now I'm printing how many characters are there in the string. So length of string is A. So now it telling me that length of string is 27. So there are 27 characters are there in the string, which includes spaces or commas as well. So moving on to the next question, which is saying that write a program to reverse the string. So we want to reverse the string hello, comma, I am learning Python. After reversing the string, then we have to display the characters in an alternate way. So we don't need to print all the characters when we reverse a string, we just need to print the alternate characters. So the way we can do is let's store this string in a variable called L. So what we will do here, as we know that there are the way we can do reversing the string is, so before we start reversing the string, let's understand what the syntax this means. So since I am accessing the elements of a list, I am putting 2 colons, which means I am not giving any value to it. So what it will do, it will print or find all the characters from beginning till end. So basically it will print all the elements from beginning till end, because I am not giving any value in it. I am not putting like start from 2 to 6 or 2 to 3 or 3 to 6. I am telling that hey, I am not giving any value. So by default print all the characters. So let me run this command first, and we can see that it giving me hello, I am learning Python. So it has accessed all the elements of the list, but string. So let's say I put a step size. So as we know that step size means that in how many times we have to increment while accessing the elements of a string. So let's say if I put -1, it basically will start from the end. So the first element will become the last one, which is n. So n will become the first element if I put -1 as a step size. So if I run it now, if you can see that it has print from other way around, or in a reverse fashion, like it is starting from n, then o, then h, then t, y, p, and so on. Now in our question, it's asking to display the alternate characters in it. So instead of showing all the characters, we want to show only the alternate characters. Now to show the alternate characters, we can put the step size as 2. So minus will start from reverse order, from the end, and 2 will display only the alternate characters. So if I run this command, now you can see that it's starting from N, then it's skipping O, and then it's printing H, then again it's skipping T, now it's printing Y, then skipping the P, and then it's showing the space, then it's skipping G, and then it's showing N. So in this way it will show you the reversing the string and showing the elements in a alternate fashion. So this is how you can do and reverse the string. So the next question is, write a program to split the string into tokens like hello, comma, I am learning Python into individual words and then display them in a lowercase order. So what we can do, let's store this string in a variable called L. So hello, I'm learning Python in a variable called L, and the output what we want to split individual words and then convert into a lowercase. So what we can do, we can go in other way around as well. Let's say I am doing the lowercase first, L dot lower. Let's say if I am getting the right output, L dot lower. So lower is a function which will convert all your characters into a lowercase. So when I'm running this command, I can see that all my elements in a string has been converting into a lowercase. The next thing it's saying is that split the string into multiple tokens. So let me store this lowercase into some variable, let's say called str underscore lower, and the next step is to split. So as we know that we have a function called str underscore lower dot split, we have a function called dot split. So we are saying that, hey, take this variable which are storing the lowercase hello, I'm learning Python, and then split into multiple tokens. And the way we have to split the tokens based on spaces. So by default, if we don't provide anything in it, inside it, it will split based on spaces. So when I run this command, we can see that the string has been converted into or split into a multiple words or a multiple tokens which are in a lowercase order. The next thing we can say that, okay, here I am splitting based on spaces. Let's say what will happen if we provide a comma. If we provide a comma, let's see how Python will split this particular string. And we can see that the comma is present only in one place. So hello become the first token, and then after comma we don't have any comma, so it becomes I am learning Python, which becomes the second token. We can also store the output, let's say in some variable, and let access the values of it. So let's say str underscore token, and let's see what is present in the. So we can see that in the as you know that the indexes will start from 0. So it's saying that in your first we are storing I am learning Python because we only have 2 tokens, because there is only one comma, so we have only two tokens. The first token is hello, second token is I am learning Python, and the first token hello is storing in the location 0, and the second token, which is I am learning Python, is storing in the location 1. So that's why when I print 1, it's showing I am learning Python, and let's say if I put 0, it will supposed to put as hello. So we can see in this way we can convert any string into lowercase, split into different tokens based on some criteria, whether it's spaces, comma, or some other delimiter. So the next question what we have is to write a program to find whether this smaller substring, which is learning, it's a smaller substring, is present or not in a bigger substring, which is hello, comma, I'm learning Python. And if it's present, then we need to tell how many times it's present. So what we can do, let's create a big string, which is hello, I'm learning Python. And let's create a smaller substring, which is storing learning. we put in the caps. Okay. So now here we have defined hello I'm learning Python in a variable called big str, and a smaller substring learning in a different variable. Now we can see that this smaller substring learning is present in the bigger substring. Now using the Python syntax, we need to figure it out whether learning is present or not. If it's present, then how many times it is present. So now in order to find whether a substring is present or not, we can use a function called find to find out whether a substring is present or not. And in order to count the number of times it's present, we can use a function called count. So let's do it here. So the way we can do is using the big str function. Oh, sorry, I mean big str variable, which is a bigger string, dot find function, and then inside the find function I'm passing smaller substring. So this particular command or a function should tell me whether smaller substring is present or not. If the value come out to be negative, it means it's not present, but if the value come out to be positive, it means that substring is present. And now since the value is coming to be positive, it means that substring is present in the bigger one, and we can see that. Now the next question is how many times this smaller substring is present in a bigger one. So the way we can do using the function called count, we will use a similar way. We will pass the bigger substring dot count, and we can see that it only present 1, so we are expecting the output to come out to be 1, and we can see that that it only present as 1, so that's why the value is coming out to be 1. Let's say if I add another learning here, and let's see what would be the output. And we can see that now the number of time it present is coming out to be 2. So this is how we can do finding the substring in a bigger one and how many time it present. We can use some of these functions like find and count. So welcome back in this live hands-on exercise. So in this video we will go through the programming exercise on if and else statement. So let's get started with our first question, which is write a program to find whether any input number is even or not or odd. So as we know that even numbers are like, let's say 2, 4, 6, 8, and the odd numbers would be 1, 3, 5, 7, and so on. So as we can see that, in order to understand whether a number is even or not, we say that, okay, if a number is divisible by 2 and the remainder comes out to be 0, then it's an even number. So for example, let's say 2 percentile 2. So if I run 2 percentile 2, it's giving 0 as a remainder, so it means that it's an odd number. So basically we will use the same concept to find out whether a number is even or not. So let's say I'm storing that input number in variable called x, and let's say I'm passing the value as 7. So now we have stored the input variable in a variable called x, and in the x I'm passing value 7. So the way we can do is, if x divisible by 2 and gives a remainder equal to 0, then print as even number, or else print as odd number. So we can see that we have passed the input number as 7, so we know that 7 is an odd number, and let's see if this syntax will able to print the right print message or not. And when I run it, we can see it's telling it's an odd number, so it means our syntax is right and we were able to identify whether input number is odd or even. So let's try with another one. Let's say I'm passing x equal to 6. It's a even number, so let's say whether the syntax print the even number or not, and we can see that it's printing the even number. So this is how we can use if and else statement to find whether a number is even or odd. Now the next question is write a program to display hello if a number entered by a user is a multiple of 5, otherwise print by. So it's saying that if a user enter any number, let's say 10, and if 10 is a multiple of 5, then we will print the message called hello. And if the number is not divisible by 5, then we will say that, then we will print the message called by. So let me introduce you one function how to take an input number from a user. So that function is called input. That is a function input, and inside you can pass some message like, let's say, enter number. And input and make sure that since if a number we are inputting is some numerical number like 7 or 6 or integer or a float, make sure you provide the right data type like int, else it will consider as a string number. And if you want to do any multiple, and if you want to do any kind of a mathematical on it, then it will give you an error. So let's say I'm storing the user input number in a variable like n. And similarly, the way we did the previous example, we can go in this way as well. Like, let's say if n multiple of 5 and the remainder it gives you 0, then I will print the message hello. Else we will print the message as pi. So I can let me recap this. So I am taking the input number from a user. That number we will store in a variable like n, and then using the if and else statement, we are checking whether this number gives a remainder as 0 or not. If it giving a remainder 0, then it means that we can print hello, else we will say pi. So let me run it. Now we can see that it asking enter number. So this enter number is coming from this message enter number. Now let's say I'm passing 8. We can see that 8, when we divide by 5, it will not give a remainder 0. So the message we are expecting it to be pi. And we can say that it's coming to be pi. Let's say I'm passing 10, which I know that when it's a multiple of 5 and the remainder it will give me 0. We can say it's giving hello. So this is how we can use if and else statement to find whether a number is multiple of 5 or not. And we can use also the input function to take an input value from our user. Now the next question is write a program to calculate the electricity bill of a user. So the user will provide the number of units they have used in a given month, and then based on this if and else statement or a conditions, we will calculate how much the amount it would be. So what conditions it has given is that, the first 100 units of your electricity, there will be no charge, but for the next 100 units you have to pay 5 per unit, and similarly after 200 units you have to pay 10 per unit. So for example, let's say I have consumed 350 units. So what it's saying is that for the first 100 units your amount will be 0. Then for the next 100 units the amount will be 5 per unit. So 100 into 5 equal to 500, and the remaining left to be let's say 350 minus 100 for the first 100 which has 0. Then for the second 100, 350 minus 100 and then multiply by 10. And then multiply by 10. So that basically will give me 1500. So 350 minus 200, which is 150, 150 into 10 is equal to 1500. So the total amount we have to pay is 2000. So that's why we can see is 2000. So let's see how can we do using the Python syntax. So we will use that input function so that we can take the input from a user that how much electricity they have consumed. So I will be converting into integer format. Enter units. Then I will check if n less than 100, then amount equal to 0, because we know that if we have consumed only less than 100 units of electricity, then the amount would be 0. Then else if n is greater than 100 and n less than 200 or equal to 200, then the amount would be n minus 100 into 5. Because if somebody has consumed 150, so the first 100 unit there will be no bill. For the remaining they have to pay 5 per unit, so that's why n minus 100 into 5. And else if the amount is greater than 200, then the amount they have to pay is first 100 into 5, that is between 100 to 200. Then after 200, n minus 200 into 10. So that means any value after 200, there will be a charge of multiplication into 10. And then let's print amount. So it's asking for how many units we have consumed. Let's say we have consumed 350. Since we have consumed 350, we are expecting the output to come out to be 2000, and that's where we can see that the amount is coming to be 2000. Let's say we have used 75. So since we have used less than 100, so I'm expecting the value to come out to be 0, which is 0. And let's try out one more example. Let's say I have consumed 150. So the first 100 units there will be no bill, but for the next 50 units I have 50 into 5, so 250. So basically the amount should come out to be 250, and it's coming to be 250. So this is how we can use if and else statement to create some kind of a rules and then calculate value based on those rules. So welcome back everyone. So the next hands-on exercise is on for loop or a while loop. So the first question is, what we are doing is to write a program to find the factorial of a number. So the factorial of a number, what does it mean is that, let's say I want to understand what is the factorial of a 4. So the way we basically calculate is 4 times 3 into 2 into 1. So this is how we calculate the 4 factorial. Similarly, if somebody wants to find the factorial of a 5, then the value would be 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Similarly, if somebody wants to know the factorial of a 3, then factorial 3 is 3 into 2 into 1. So that would be 6. So the factorial of a 5 will become 120, and similarly the factorial of a 4 become 24. So this is how we can find the factorial of any number. So the way we can do using the for loop is, so let's say I'm taking the number from a user. So I'm using the input function so that user can enter the number. So the reason we always convert into a int or some float value is because by default this input function store any number or any value or any user input in a string format. So if you want to use that number in some kind of a mathematical operation, you want to convert into some numeric data type, which is like int or a float. So that's why I'm converting user input, that could be 4 or 5 in a string format, into a integer format. So the next thing what I'm doing is I'm creating a variable called fact, and I'm storing a value like 1. So the why I have stored fact equal to 1, you will come to know when we write down the for loop. So let's say I'm using the for loop. The reason why I'm using the for loop, because we want to iterate any number. Let's say user has entered 4, then we have to iterate from 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Similarly, we have to iterate in the case of 5 till 1. And similarly, in the case of 3 factorial, 3 into 2 into 1. So it means we have to iterate from any number till 1. Or we can say that we have to start from 1 till we have to go from the user input. So let's say we want to start from 1, because 1, comma, and then we will go till the user input, let's say n plus 1, and the step size we are giving as 1 because we have to increment by 1 because 4 3 2 1. And then what I'm doing is fact equal to fact into 1 because we know that we are multiplying 4 into 3, 3 into 2 into 1. And let me print out. So let me run and then I will explain. This has to be input. So let's say I'm giving 4 and I'm expecting the output to be 24. So instead of 1, by mistake I put as 1, we have to put as I. So when I run it, I put 4, we will get 24. Similarly, if I put 5, we are expecting the output to be 120. And let's say if I put 6, then I am expecting the output to be 720. So what exactly is happening in this syntax is when this for loop will start, the value of I will be 1. Let's say the value of I equal to 1. When the value of I equal to 1, then this value of fact would be fact into I. As we know that we have initialized the fact equal to 1 and the value of I is equal to 1, then 1 into 1 becomes fact equal to 1. Now when the value of I equal to 2, then this value of fact will become fact, which is currently right now 1 because we can say it's 1, and the value of I equal to 2. So 1 into 2 will get stored back into this variable fact. Now the value of fact will become 2. Similarly, when the value of I equal to 3, then here this value become 3 and the value of fact right now is 2. So this 3 comma 2 will become 6. So the new value of fact will become 6. And similarly we can do with I equal to 4. So let's say when the value of I equal to 4, then here this expression here I will be 4, fact is right now 6, so 4 into 6 will become 24. So the new value of fact will become 24. So this is how we can do we can find the factorial of a number using the for loop. Now the next is how to write a program to find or to print first 10 even numbers, and we already done in the previous exercise. In order to find the even number, we basically divide it by 2 and see if the remainder is coming to be 0 or not. So we can do multiple ways. We can go with a for loop. Let's say I am using the for loop I, and it's saying that print the first 10 numbers. So basically the first even number will start from 2. Let's say I'm starting from 2, and then it's asking the first 10 even numbers. So the first 10 even numbers will be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 5, and the next 5 would be 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So we will go till 22, and then the step size I will put it as 2, and then I will print as I. Oh sorry, let me put the range. So we can see that when I put the range, now it's showing me all my 10 values. Now we can do in other way as well, I mean, which would not be a very smart way of doing, but again there is an option of doing as well. So let's say I am iterating from 1 till 21 and I'm giving the step size as 1, because now what it's doing is checking each variable, like each value from 1 till 21 or 1 till 20, whether if we divide it by 2 it gives a remainder 0 or not. If yes, if it's giving as remainder 0, then print its value. So we can see it's printing the first 10 even number. Then the next one is how to print a table of a number accepted from a user. So what does it mean is that, let's say if somebody has input a value as 3, so we want to create a table of a 3 which should look like 3 into 1 equal to 3, then 3 into 2 equal to equal to 6, 3 into 3 it equal to 9, and then so on. Then 3 into 10 equal to 30. So this is how we want to create a table using a for loop. So the way we can do, let's say I am taking the input from a user and a number, and then convert from string into int. Now let's say I will be iterating from 1 till 11 with a step size of 1. And let's say a string of n, and then I'm passing plus space, then multiplication sign, then let's say I equal to, then I'm multiplying this user number n with this I. N into I. So since we have taken the, let's say user have entered 3, then when it's iterate from 1 till 10, then it calculate 3 into 1 here will print 3, so 3 into 2 6, and so on. Let me comment this part. Let's say I want to know the table of a 3. Let's convert this into string format because we are concatenating, so make sure that everything is on string format. And here we can see the table of a 3 into 1 3, 3 into 2 6, and so on. So this is how we can use a for loop to print any table. So welcome back. So in this hands-on exercise, we will go through some of the questions on functions. So the first question is, write a Python function to find the maximum of 3 numbers. So what it's saying is that create a function that will take some value, and then we have to print what is the maximum number in that list. So for example, let us create one list, and I'm storing the values like 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now creating a function which is finding, let's say the name would be max num something, and then it will accept some value which is, let's say, L. Now we have learned to find a maximum value in a list, we have a function called max. So this is how we will create this function, which will take a string, this variable L, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then basically will print what is the maximum value in this string. So now I'm calling this function and passing the list L. So when I call this function and pass this list L, it will go into this function, and then it will find what would be the maximum value in this list. And we can see that it's printing 7. So in this list, the maximum number is 7. So this is how we can create a list and then pass that list using the function, and then it will print the maximum value. So the next question is that we have to create a function that accepts a string, and then that function will basically calculate how many uppercase and how many lowercase alphabets are present in this particular string. So let me show you with one example. Let's say I'm creating a variable. Hello, I am learning Python, and in this string, basically we have to create a new function. We will calculate how many lowercase and uppercase alphabets are there. So let me create a function. Let's say calculate a user defined function, and this function will accept a string, so I'm giving the name as str. Now what I'm doing, I'm creating two variables, or like a counter variables, which will basically count how many lowercase and uppercase are there. Now I will use the for loop to iterate each element of the string. Let's say for I in str, and then it will check that if, so this function basically will check that whether this element let's say h is lowercase or not. If yes, then this condition will get true and then increment the counter by 1. Or else if I dot is upper, then increment the counter for upper value. Or else if, let's say, if space or comma comes up, then I'm saying that skip it or pass it. And once this iteration of for loop over, then I'm saying then return the output back to the called function. Let's say return lower and upper. So these are the two variables which are basically calculating the count of lowercase and uppercase. And let's say the way we are comma, and then we are calling this function, and the string we are passing is this one. And let's say I'm printing lower equal to, then print upper equal to upper. And when I run this command, it's telling me that, hey, there are 18 lowercase alphabets are present in the string and there are 4 uppercase. So the 4 would be this H, and then I, L, and then P. So let's change it to the last one as uppercase. So I'm expecting now the uppercase will become 6 and the lowercase will reduce to 16, and this is what we are getting. So moving on to the next question, which is saying is that write a Python function that takes a list and returns a new list with unique elements of the first list. So what it's saying is that, let's say you are creating a first list which has this values 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 1, 1. As we can see, there are a lot of duplicate values are there, like 1 has been duplicated 4 times, whereas 3 is 2 times, and so on. We can add, let's say, 5 as well. So what it's saying is that create a Python function that will create a new list which has only the unique values of the first one. So the output we are expecting is that the second list should give an output like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is what we are expecting from a second list. So let's say the second list I'm creating as a blank list, and inside that second list we will create a unique values. Let's create a function, unique values function, and then we will pass a list. So now that we have created this function unique underscore values, and inside this function we will find out the unique elements. So we will iterate through each element of the first, and then we will check if I not in first. So basically it's checking that, hey, the first element, which is 1, whether it's present in the second one or not. If yes, if it's not present, then add to it. That's it. And then when it's done, then probably we can print here itself the second one, and then let's print the first list here. So the function has been created. Now let's call this function. And we can see that the first list is printing with all the duplicate values as well, but the second list only printing the unique values, because here when we are iterating each element of the first list, is basically will check whether this, let's say this 1, the first element, is present in the second list or not. The first time it has no element, so basically it will add 1 into the second one. But when it checks the 3, let's say it comes to 3, the first time when it comes to 3, it will see that, hey, this 3 is not present in the second list, so it will append the 3 into it. But when it comes to the second time, it will check whether 3 is present or not in the second one, and we can see that 3 is already present, then it will skip this particular one, this particular if statement, and then move to the next one, which will be 4, and then so on. So this is how we can find the unique values in the list. So the next question is write a Python function to check whether a given string is palindrome or not. So what does it mean is that any string which looks like in this way, let's say, so whether you read from beginning till end or in a reverse order, it always spells same or always pronounced same. So these strings are called palindrome. For example, if I go with Python, when you read from beginning till end is saying Python, but when you read it from other way around, it's like NOHTYP, which means something different, which spells something different. So what we are doing is to create a function which can tell us whether the given word or a string is palindrome or not. So the way we can do is to create a, let's say, creating a function palindrome check, which basically accept a string, and here we will check whether this string. So what it's is checking here the str, which is this kayak in a from beginning till end, and what I'm doing here is here in this syntax I'm reversing the string. So as we already know that if we provide if we don't provide any value, and this would be like colon to colon, it means that read the string from beginning till end. But when I provide the step size, let's say minus, it means read from end till beginning. And if I put 1, so it's basically saying read all the characters from end till beginning. So here it's basically checking whether the string before reverse and after reverse equal to same or not. If it's same, then print palindrome, or else it's not palindrome. So now we have creating a function. Let's call this function. And it's saying that it's a palindrome because whether you read from beginning till end or in a reverse order, it's means same. But let's say if I pass Python, which is not palindrome, so we expect that the output should be it's not palindrome. And here we can see that it's not palindrome. Hello everyone, for the next live hands-on classroom practice exercise. So in this video we will go through the list and the tuples. So for this exercise I am only going through the list, but at home or in your homework assignment you can use the concept of tuple to solve this next couple of questions. So let's get started. So the first question is write a program to create two lists. We have to create two lists and store the iPhone or Samsung models and prices in them. So what it's saying that in the first list, store the iPhone or Samsung models in it, and in the second list, store their prices, and then combine both the strings into one, and then access some of the elements and display them. So let's get started. Let's create a first list. Let's give it a name, list, let's say models, and let's put some values inside it. Let's say iPhone XR. Well, let's say next would be iPhone 12. Next would be Samsung, let's say S20, and Samsung S22. So we have defined 4 values in this list, and let's create another one. Let's say list underscore prices, and put some prices, maybe let's say $500 or $300. I'm just randomly giving some values, and 900. So now we have created 2 lists. In the first list we are storing the names of iPhone and Samsung models, and in the second list we are storing the prices. Now the next part of the question is to combine both the lists into one, and we have learned that we can combine the list into multiple ways. The first way could be combining sideways, and the other way could be combining one below the other. So let's do both the option and see what output we will get. So the first way we are doing is to combine one below the other. So I'm just giving the name as lists underscore combine one, and inside the square brackets I'm passing both the variables, which is list underscore models and list underscore prices. Let's print the list underscore combine one, and let's see what output we will get. And we can see that the lists have been created, which is storing one below the other. Now the next part is how can we access the elements of the list. And as we know that in order to access the elements of the list, first we will provide the row number. Let's say I'm providing the row number as 0, and then we will provide the column number. And then next we will provide the column number. So the column number I'm putting as, let's say, 1. So the row number 0, which would be our first, and then provided the column number as 1. So we can see that row number 0 and column number 1 should be iPhone 12. So let's see what output we will get. Let me use the print command to display its value, and we can see that list underscore combine 1 at row number 0, column 1, we have value called iPhone 12. So this is how we can combine and access the elements of the list. We can do other way around as well when we have to combine, sideways. So the way we can do is, let me create a new variable called list underscore combine 2, and then using the zip function. Inside the zip function, I'm passing both the list, that is our first list, which is models, and list underscore prices would be our the second one. Now the output of this zip function I'm converting into a list format. And now let's say what value we will get. And we can see that it has combined sideways, which is looking much more like a easy to understand, more like a spreadsheet kind of an output. I can see that, in column number first, I have 4 values, which is iPhone model names. And in the second column, I have all the prices. So let's say I want to access some of the elements of this list. So what we can do is, in the same way, provide the name and then pass the row number. So let's say I'm passing the row number 0, which is this one, iPhone 10R, and the column number 1. So column number 1, that would be this one. So row number 0 is the first one, and then column number 1 would be 500. So I expect the output to come out to be 500, and we can see that output is coming out to be 500. So this is how we can combine the list into multiple ways and then access the values or elements inside any of the list. Now moving on to the next question. So the next question is saying is that write a program to create a list or a numeric list of iPhone prices. So store the prices of iPhone in that list, and then afterwards, after defining the list, then add some more elements into it, or append or add some more elements into it. Once you do that, then find what would be the mean, max, mean, and sum of that list. So let me showcase you with an example. Let's say I'm creating a list called, let's say, models or prices, and I'm storing, let's say, 4 values in it: 700, 800, 600, and 1000. So the question is saying that once you create a list of numeric list, then add some more elements into it. And you know that we can add elements inside a list using the function like append. So let's say I'm adding a new element which has a value like, let's say, 1200, and we can see that fifth element 1200 has been added into the original list of prices. Now let's say I'm adding another element. Let's say I'm adding let's say I'm adding a new element in that list. Let's say value 350. So the way we can do is same, prices dot append 350, and when I run this, we can see that we got 2 more elements, which is 1200 and 350. So in this way we can add elements in a list. Now let's say next part, what we are doing is to find what is the minimum value in this list, what is the maximum value, what is the sum, and what is the mean value of it. And we learned that there are already inbuilt functions are there which can find the minimum maximum value inside the list. So let me print those values using min function. So let's say minimum of prices, we will pass the list name called prices. Similarly, we can provide minimum, max, and sum. So the first print statement will tell me what is the minimum value. The second will tell me what is the maximum value. The third will print the sum of all the 6 elements. And since we don't have like a mean function, so what we can do is to find the sum of prices divided by length of list. So, and it will tell us what would be the mean values. So when I run it, I think I have put extra bracket here, so let me remove it and rerun it, and we can see that the minimum value in this price list is 350. We can see that it's 350. The maximum value is 1200. We can see it's giving 1200. The sum of this, all the 6 elements, it's coming to be 4650, and the mean is 4650 divided by number of elements, which are 6, is coming to be 7775. So this is how we can use the concept of list by adding new element inside it, and then on top of it we can use some of the inbuilt functions like min, max to do some kind of an analysis as well. Hello everyone. So in this live hands-on exercise, we will go through some of the questions on dictionary. So let's start with the first question. So the first question is, it's saying that create a dictionary from a list and print their keys and values. So what it's saying is that create some list. Once you create the list, then from that list create a dictionary. And once you create a dictionary, then print its values and keys. So let's create some of the list. Let's say I'm creating some list called name and storing the value. Let's say I'm storing John. Then let's say XYZ, and let's say another one, Mark. And now I'm storing the age of them. Let's say 35, 40, and 45. So here we have created a to list. Let me run it, and now the list has been created. Now the question is saying that once you create a list, the next step is to create a dictionary from it. So let's create a dictionary. Let's say I'm creating a dictionary, let's say name underscore age. And as you know that in order to create a dictionary, we will use the curly brackets, and then inside the curly brackets we will provide all the variables. So let's say I'm creating the first dictionary, which is the first key of dictionary or a first column header of a dictionary. Let's say the name I'm giving as name of person, and then colon, and then I'm passing the first list, which is name. So what it's doing is that this dictionary has created the first key or a column header, you can say, as name underscore person, and this key will store the values of this list, which is name. So basically name underscore person is storing 3 values: John, XYZ, and Mark. Similarly, we can create a second key or a column header, you can say, as age underscore person, and here I'm passing the second list, which is age. Here I'm passing the second list, age. So basically the second key, which is age underscore person or a column header, is storing 3 values again of age list, which is 30, 40, 45, and in this way it will create our list. In this way it will create our dictionary. So let's print this dictionary and let's see what values we will get. Name underscore age, and at the same time it's saying print its keys and values as well. So let's print its keys as well. The way we can print the keys is using the function called dot keys, and let's print its values as well. Name underscore age dot values. So let me put a comma here, and we can see that name underscore age has been created. So the first key is name underscore person with 3 values in it, John, XYZ, Mark. And similarly, second key has been created, which is age underscore person, storing 3 values, 35, 40 and 45. Now the keys or the column headers which is present in this dictionary are called name underscore person and then age underscore person. We can see that we have created here name underscore person and age underscore person. And the values which are present are this one, name, which is present here, and age, which is present 35, 40, 45, which is the value which is printing it. So this is how we can create a new dictionary from the list and then print their values and the keys. So moving on to the next question, it's saying is that create a new dictionary by extracting the keys from an older dictionary. So what it's saying is that, let's say you have already created one dictionary. So let's say in our previous example, we have already created a dictionary called name underscore age. Now what it's saying is that create a new one and then copy the keys of this name underscore age and paste or store into a new dictionary. So let me print the name underscore age keys. What are the keys are present? As we know that there are 2 keys are present. So what it's saying is that create a new dictionary now. Let me create a new dictionary. And I'm creating a blank one. And let me print its value. It should come out to be blank. So we can see that we have created a new dictionary which is a blank. Now what it's saying is that copy the keys or name underscore age into new underscore dictionary. So the new dictionary. I mean the more smarter way we can do to copy this is using the for loop, but since we have not done the for loop concept yet, so let's park it for a later use. But let's go with the syntax what we have learned so far. So let's say now I'm creating the first key which will be copied from the previous one. Let's say I'm creating a new key, let's say name, and in this key I want to store the keys of name underscore age. So let's say name underscore age, which is our old dictionary. Its first key is name underscore person. So what I am doing is copying the name underscore person key into a new dictionary, and I'm giving that key name as name. So let me print its values as well. And we can see that new underscore dictionary name is storing the values of previous dictionary or the old dictionary. And we can see that new underscore dictionary, if I print its keys, it will tell me one key, I think, and that is name, because here we have created a key here. Similar way we can create another key as well, or copy from the older dictionary is in this way, new underscore dictionary, and let's say I'm giving the name as age. Now I'm copying the values from this one, name underscore age, which is our old dictionary, and then I'm passing age underscore person. And let me print the keys of a new dictionary. Now we can see that new dictionary it's showing 2 keys. Now we have added or copied 2 keys now from the older dictionary. And let's print its values as well, new underscore dictionary dot values. And we can see that in the new dictionary also we have copied the values from an older dictionary into a new one. So this is how we can copy the values from one dictionary to another. Obviously it's not a very smart way of doing. There are other methods as well, like for loop, which will be coming in the next topic. But for now, let's go with this particular syntax. But once we learn the for loop, that would be much more smarter way of copying the values from one dictionary to another. Now the next question is, how can we delete the keys from a dictionary? So as we can see that we have created 2 keys, name and age. let's say it asking us to delete one of the key. So the way we can do is to use the name of the dictionary, which is new underscore dictionary, and then we can use a function called pop. We have learned that we can use the concept of pop to remove or delete any element from a list or tuple or a dictionary. Let's say I want to delete the key called name, and let me print its new keys now for the remaining key. And we can see that using the dot pop function we were able to remove the key called name, and then when I print the keys of this new dictionary, it only showing me one, that age is only left because we have deleted the name.